Hello Sim Racers, welcome Friday's live stream, and tonight we are going again to do some community races, and it's a perfect opportunity to practice also at Watkins Glen with the Audi as usual, because as I've told you last time, the Greek racing team TF Racing, they are the name of the team, has invited me for a 24 hours race on low fuel motorsport endurance event at Watkins Glen on the 29th of October. So 24 hours racing. It's going to be really long, and as usual in these kind of races, the ones that make the less errors are the ones that survive and gain a good position as well. So practice it is, consistency, limit the errors, check the setup. For now I'm just seeking speed and consistency, and then we will go also to try more setups, solutions, and possibly strategy and or wet, compromises or not. How are you doing, everybody in the chat? I hope you're doing great, and I hope you had a great week, and I hope most importantly to have a great weekend in front of us. Yonut says Watkins Glen walls are close. Yes, indeed, my friend, they are very, very close. So consistency is very important at Watkins Glen. John Smith, long week. Tell me about it, indeed. All right, so what we're going to do, we have our Andimon, our administrator and moderator, has created for us 2 racing events on simracing.gp, which is always supporting us. Thank you so much for that, simracing.gp staff. And also thank you to Andimon as well. And as usual, don't forget to go to Andimon Plays YouTube channel and subscribe. It's important for Andimon to grow his channel as well. And of course, if you're here, subscribe also to our channel as well. We are getting really close to the 40,000 subscribers for the end of the year. Pretty amazing numbers. Thank you, guys. Until we're waiting for the servers to open, they should be open in about 10 minutes. No Panic says, uscirà una patch della patch per PS5 uscita ieri. If a hot fix of the update patch for the console is going to come out? Absolutely yes. Developers of the console are gathering all the reports that you guys are sending. We are also monitoring as much as possible socials and forums, and some of the tragedy bugs, honestly, they're not that much tragedy, but I agree they could have been avoided. Some of the most important bugs, like inconsistency of multiplayer, stuff like that, those are in fact very, very critical, and they are gathering the logs and everything to try to understand why this is happening, and hotfixes are on their way, so hold on to your seats, and they should be able to fix pretty much all the major bugs and then focus on the smaller ones as well. Perception. Nice. Andy is streaming on Sunday. Mikkel, let me know. So that's very important, guys. Again, go and subscribe to Andimon Plays. Search on YouTube Andimon Plays. Actually, I should also make or you can, just go to our community, our Discord community, and you will find all the information for Andimon channel as well. John Smith reminds us in the chat that Andimon on Sunday is doing his fancy screenshotting lesson. So if you want to know how to make amazing screenshots and edit them and all that great creative stuff, by all means go and check this. Alright, so let's have a look and see. The server list is disconnected right now, so let me wait for that. I'm pretty sure that the server is not yet up, because it should start at around 5 minutes or 6 minutes from now, so we have to wait a little bit. Thank you, John Smith, with the link, always very, very helpful. Hello everybody, thank you everybody for joining. Thank you, Marco. Very, very glad that you appreciate the core work. I also believe that the core work of Untold development team has been fantastic on the patch, because yes, I know there are some bugs, some minor bugs and some more critical bugs that I know you, and it is frustrating. A couple of things that I think I should tell people. It's the work done to make a console run at 400 hertz physics. It's amazing, in my humble opinion. So I think they did an amazing upgrade on that, and also all the rest of gameplay and so on and so on. Things like server is going down, or server multiplayer seems to go intermittently good or bad. These are things that probably didn't happen during the development, with obviously the limited amount of players that you can work with to to test a patch. And in any case, from how submissions work at consoles, it's always good to have a stable release, so that the submissions go through without problems. So when Sony and Microsoft say, okay, this release is good, it's stable, we can let it go through, this is the one you wrap up and send online. It might have some minor bugs. It might have also some bugs that have been not seen and unforeseen. So that's unfortunate. But it's much easier to hotfix those instead of having, putting in things that you don't know if the submission process is going to go through, and let you publish the patch. So first you go to publish the patch with all the main content, all the main core code errors fixed, or updates and everything. The console submission process says, okay, you're clean to go, and this is very good. And then you find out, or you have already known, that there are some other bugs that do not actually break the whole system, and you send them through, and you don't have to do a submission on that. So it's always very complicated. I'm honest. And check our servers. Ripstream already. That's interesting. But it didn't seem to be stopped from me here. It's interesting that I have these problems exactly when I'm trying to stream. Yeah. Let's hope it will, it will work around tonight. We'll see. Seems because if it doesn't work, honestly, I think that somebody is having fun, and that's not good. But congrats to him if he enjoys himself having fun with me. So the server is not yet up. We will be waiting for the server to get up. Right, that wasn't good. I still have network issues. That's not nice. I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna have another disconnection right at the race, so we'll see what happens. Server is launching right now. The router has been updated. Everything is new. We'll see. It's strange because we had no issues before, and now it seems we've gone back again. So I don't know what to say. So we're launching. Still not there. Marco, quello non saprei proprio cosa dirti su quello, non ne ho idea proprio. Two more minutes to lunch. Waiting. Rob, from what I know, they are fixing. They are working on the fix to get out as soon as possible. Like not this month because obviously we are on the 30th of the month, but like early next month or early next week or something like that. I think it's gonna be more than one fixes. First the main one to try to fix the servers because this is not something we have thought it could happen. So that is number one critical thing to fix. Then there are some reports for some of the people losing force feedback. Also, this has to understood and fix that. So I don't know. Matthias, I don't know if you talking about console, which we have already talked about it until now. If you're talking PC, we have been updating and improving ACC since day one. So it's been 4 years doing this thing. So I don't know honestly what you're talking about. Updates for the PC version on Catamaps. We are working on the new DLCs for the new cars GT3s when they will arrive. We have already talked about that, and the GT2 series as well. Server is up. If you guys want to start connecting, I have to wait a little bit because it's disconnected for me. The server list should be up in a minute or so. I have no idea, Darmel, but I guess pretty much similar to PC because I don't think why. Why not? Yeah, I have Brian. I have the system that disconnects your server list for a while if you are idle. So I have to wait for that. I don't want to go out and in again to the game. I should be on in a minute. Hopefully. Come on, come on. All right. You cannot. So Pro Driver says how he can be accurate with the climatology in ACC. You cannot be accurate. It is made in a way to be unpredictable up to a point, which is like real life. So you cannot be exactly precise and say at that time you're gonna have rain. At that time, it's not. It doesn't work like that. We didn't want it to work like that. So you cannot be. You can either choose, all dry or all wet. That is something you can choose. But if you want to be variable, you cannot be precise and accurate on that. Okay, let's see if the server is up. So let's pick our car here. Yep, that looks good. And where am I? And connect. In we go. Let's see how many disconnects we're gonna have tonight. Ooh. Non li ho provati ancora, Rayfox. Alright, so we're in. Let's load our test setup that for now I'm not gonna be showing to you guys as usual, but we will have something for you at some point. Ooh, it's so hot. Well done, thank you, Andy. Blame Andy as usual. What temperature do you want? Well, something around 25, 28, 37. Thank you, Andy. Thanks, Obama. All right, okay. So let's go in. Ciao Marcus, grazie. Buona serata. All right, so let's get in and do a couple of laps. All right. Catamap GT2 should be slower than GT3s by quite a bit, by the way. But they should be much faster in acceleration and in top speed. Quite a bit faster. So I am afraid people are going to complain because they will lack grip, and they will be much faster on the straight, so they will have to brake sooner, you know, and go into the turns slower, so everybody's going to complain like, oh, so much oversteer, so much understeer, no grip. So initially I believe we will have to teach people quite a bit about that. They are going to be something between GT4s and GT3s in terms of grip, and then they will have stronger acceleration and top speed than the GT3s. So I believe they're going to be fun to drive. But as I said, I'm pretty sure people will start complaining that, oh, no grip, you know. Hello, Hill. How you doing, buddy? I think they're gonna be a little bit more grip than the GT3 challenge, so they should be better than that.
Car on the right, clear on the right.
But not that much better. Engines should be similar. Fabio, vabbè, ma è normale, dai. Cioè, a volte anche se l'hai guidata, il tuo cervello e le tue sensazioni possono comunque dirti che una cosa è diversa da quello che è. Cioè, alla fine è tutto come reagisce il tuo cervello agli input che prendi e cosa si aspetta. So I'm trying a little bit different gears and lines. We'll see what is going to happen. No, GT2 are completely, so their field asked, GT2 are GTE category from the WEC. No, they are a completely different category. They are a new category that SRO has proposed and introduced. Completely different. They are practically cars that are what GT3s were at the start of their career. So much more closer to the original street cars. They have more power, like around 700 horsepower. They are pretty much at the same weight as GT3s, but they have less downforce. They have like half or even less than half the downforce of the GT3s. So at high speeds they are a little bit easier to drive, in terms of they are not as pitch sensitive as the GT3 cars. They are more mechanical grip dependent, but obviously having less grip in a racing sim ambient means that people have to be more patient. They will arrive at your braking points with 10 to 20 kilometers more higher speed, and obviously you will need to start braking much sooner.
Yellow flag ahead. Watch out in front.
Yeah, 700 horsepower. It's pretty fun. Hey Steven, fantastico. Hai visto? Sì, è veramente piccolo il mondo. And I'm out again. No, I'm not. This is my... I don't know if I am the one with problems or that Lamborghini. The cars in front of me seem to be fine. Ooh.
Yellow flag in sector 3.
Jose, we're doing 2 races, so there is one more. Maybe there is room for you to, to register.
Yellow flag ahead. Watch out in front.
That's a good lap time for race fuel. There's still some margin here and there. That was a nani? The Rifter situation.
Yellow flag in sector 3.
Obviously we're in practice, so in race I would hardly do something like that. All right.
Yellow flag ahead. Watch out. Session is now over.
Okay. So let's get back to the garage. As usual, sorry for that again, but don't worry, at some point I will give you a nice setup. Pressures are completely out of whack. So let's fix that. 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. Okay, that's cool. We fix the pressures. Top Tuning Treviso, ho conosciuto i miei ragazzi in sede la scorsa settimana. Grazie! Ah, bello, fantastico. Fabrizio Crestani, grazie ragazzi. Big GT3 driver and fantastic pilot. Fabrizio Crestani, thanks mate, thanks for passing by. Grazie mille Fabrizio. Fernando mi ha parlato di cose bellissime e ci stiamo lavorando. Qualifying. Qualifying. All right, let's lower a little bit the fuel. Let's go for it. Channel 11. Am I right thinking there is more lap time to be found focusing on driving style than worrying about setup? Man, driving style gives you seconds. Setup, if you are good enough, then it will give you tenths of a second. So, by all means, and I'm not, I don't want to, you know, say this because we did the default setups but stick to the aggressive setup if it's good enough for you, or start with the safe one and concentrate on driving. Concentrate on driving. Come through our Discord community, we will tell you plenty of that stuff. And yes, the problem is almost always between the steering wheel and the driving seat. So it's this guy here.
Yellow flag.
So let's go back into the cockpit now and drive for the qualifying.
Car on the left. Clear on the left.
Thank you, McLaren.
Left. Clear on the left.
Yeah, very, very short qualifying. Just going for the race. The race is important. Qualifying, who cares?
Yellow flag ahead. Watch out.
All right, let's go. Ooh. I think I was too slow over there. Ooh, that was scary. All right.
Well done, mate. That's the best.
Whew.
Yellow flag, be careful. Yellow flag is acceptable. Yellow flag ahead, be careful.
Come on. Come on. Yeah! My first 33. Woohoo! Oh my god, that was intense. Ooh, Ooh, that was very intense. Pole position as well, at least for now. Ooh. That was intense. What is the temperature? 28.36. 33.9 with 38.36. You know what, guys? I'm gonna take it. I like that. Yeah, that was a good lap. I think I will never do a better lap in my life now, but Antimon, yes, must be the temps. Alright, so let's put some fuel in. 42 laps, 42 liters should be more than enough. And we will try like that. Oof. Yes, Hill and Tony, I'm very exhausted. KS, no, we will never see GTE cars in ACC. They are part of the WEC Championship, and we are the official simulator of SRO series. The Audi feels very nice. The Audi feels very nice. It's fast. I like it. It reacts very well. There's still things I can do on the setup, but I haven't touched the setup of the guys. So the guys have used, they sent me a setup. They're happy with that for now. I'm using that setup. I'm trying to convince myself to go fast on that setup. And the only things I'm changing is a little bit of brake bias and a little bit of traction control 1 or 2. Thank you, Marcel. Thank you. I appreciate it. I've been practicing for like 3 days. This is the 4th day of practice, and it looks good. Let me check here. All right. Everything's good.
20 seconds.
Okay, let's go in. Oh, it's a full lap. Damn. That, not good. So maybe we can go to map 8 and go slow.
Go in single file.
Slipstream, if the guys let me do it, I will do it. If not, I will give you something that I'm confident to go to similar pace with the setup as well. Alright, so let's go back to, where is it? Map 8 now. No, it's not really a very secret setup. I mean, there are some things that they are okayish, but most of the setup is fine. The typical setup you would do with the Audi, you know, full rear wing and you know, stuff like not too much of a rake, honestly. Relatively soft, very soft springs, and car goes into the bump stops. You know, the usual stuff. Nothing too fancy. Now, obviously, the problem now is that I am in a position that I shouldn't be, because honestly, I don't have this kind of, you know, pace to race with the guys that are behind me. I mean, the Porsche did a similar lap time, 2 Ferraris as well, so I don't have the pace to deal with them. So I will just have to concentrate and do as less errors as possible, you know, and then we'll see what will happen, honestly. Yeah, those guys are very fast, so I've just done one of my best laps ever, you know, in this circuit and this car. So it's not my position, at least not my position yet. Of course, with practice, I still have 1 month. I will try to get closer to this kind of performance and be consistent in race with this kind of performance. But right now, I believe I am not consistent at this race. It asks way too much concentration for my brain, so I will do mistakes and I won't be able to deal with it. Hello, mate. So the thing here is that it seems that my connection of the server is good, but the connection to the stream is not as good. Which, honestly, guys, I don't care if that's... I'm sorry that you have some lags on the stream, but as long as the connection here is good, I'll take it. All right, let's go. Good start. I'm a little bit afraid on the fuel I have. We'll see. Porsche is so fast on this corner. Slidey. Tips of the butt kicker. No, sorry mate. No idea. Ooh, that Porsche is so fast in here. My God. On the slow corner, the Porsche is incredibly fast. He got me. Bad exit. He's coming for me.
Well done, mate. Good luck.
Whew.
Yellow flag in sector 2.
Oh. so at the limit. Oh, that's an amazing lap for me in the race.
Fastest lap of the race, man. Good job.
That's the problem right now, that it's so taxing for my brain right now. I'm afraid I cannot keep this kind of concentration and effort for another 40 minutes. So at some point I will have to surrender to the Porsche behind me. Philip is his name, right? Whew. He flashes me. Consistency, Aris, come on.
Fastest lap of the race. Great job, man.
Ooh. Lost some speed there. Ah. Fucking hell. Whew. I'm too old for this shit. Ooh. Come on. Don't lose time. Whew.
We are
Oh, he's pushing. Man, I cannot go faster than that. That's all I have. So bad exit. It's gonna get me on the slipstream. Yeah, I'm losing so much time. Look at what the bad exit over there at T1 gives you. Oh my god, so bad. 1/10 of a second slower now. Oh my god, so intense. Whew. Guys, this is so intense. Oof. On the limit. Enable dev hacks, dev hacks. Risky. Some tire degradation maybe? Oof. Five minutes, 6 minutes. Whew. Oh gosh. This is really hard. Whew. Bad exit. Oh, come on! See, that was so bad. That's the end of it. He will attack now. Yeah, Porsche is playing my game, but also I'm doing my stuff as well. We'll see how good he is at the last lap, I guess.
Yellow flag in sector 1.
Yeah, little nudge on the wall there. Nothing serious, I guess. Nothing. Ah, jumped car. Oof. All right, let's see. Last lap, guys.
Alright, you've just stopped the last lap as leader. Stay focused.
There he comes. All right, that worked. That exchange of lines worked for now. Let's see. Better exit here. lost. Come on.
Slow car. P1. Excellent job. Water.
Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me, guys? Oh my god. Thank you so much, buddy. Thank you, Philip. That was an amazing practice for me. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Thank you, buddy. Haha, listen to that V. Listen to flat 6. Fantastic. Oi, hey! All right, let's park the car here. Oh my god, that was very intense, guys. That was truly very intense. Okay, so back to the garage. Northim switch it a bit just to check the tires and everything. That was amazing. That was amazing. Good, good, very good tire wear. A little bit of blister, a little bit of grain, but nothing too serious, considering the rhythm I was going. Very good, very good. Oh yeah, that was intense, guys. It wasn't it? Yeah. All right. Timetables. Who's the Malinowski, of course. What did he do? 44.4 Malinowski, Tortellini. And no, at the race, right? Yes. 44.4. And what did I do? 44.5. Not that bad, this old guy here. What did Philip did? 44.5 as well. Not that bad. I don't believe I'm just 1/10 of a second away from Tortellini, but he certainly has to try to make it better. Philip, let me write to Philip. Philip, come on. Where's the? Yeah, whatever. My keyboard is not so good. Yeah, we're gonna have another one now. Tortellini goes in reverse gear for sure. Well, Tortellini first track in first time in this track. I'll take it. I'll definitely take it. Not bad. Not bad at all. Turn to the garage. Yeah, Philip, very good, fantastic. Replay should be saved, so we're gonna have some fun later on. Car 500, who are you? Where are you? Can't find you. Maybe you went out already. Anyway, so we're gonna have a second race in a minute. So let's have a look and see if the server... No, the server needs 3 minutes, so let's say here. Let's have some look at the replays. Ooh. I won't be able to do another race like that. I won't be able to do this. So replays. This one. Play. Hello Octavian, how you doing, buddy? Hello Fernando. Let's have a look. Here we go. Very good start, I have to say. VLS dice che usa il controller e non va più forte di 48,9 a Monza. Innanzitutto complimenti, perché già questo è un tempo fantastico per controller. Nella tua domanda se si può andare forte col controller, ci sono degli alieni che fanno tempi ancora più forti con il controller. Ovviamente io ti consiglio assolutamente e vivamente di prendere un volante, ma capisco che magari non è possibile per un sacco di motivi. Perciò puoi migliorare, ma ti dico che già sei fortissimo, perciò sei un pilota già bravo. Ok? Forza, continua. Hey Octavian, happy for you, mate. Glad you made it from work here. Thank you so much for joining, everybody. Happy to see so many people in the stream. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you like what you see. Ah, that was very nice. That was very intense. That was very intense. I tell you, I'm too old for this shit. Ooh. Philip was pushing me so hard during the whole race. Every single lap he was there. And as usual, I would admit I was fast for my own level, okay, for the temperatures as well. But I would say that what made me one was doing no mistakes, no very big mistakes, okay. So no mistakes is what makes you have good performance, good results. Winning sometimes happen like that, you know, for us it's, but making no mistakes, even when I was under attack. You see that I've done some strange lines on the S's going uphill. That was to make the Porsche lift necessarily the accelerator, because otherwise he would either hit me or he couldn't take the slipstream. So a little bit of that. It helped me to maintain the lead in the straight. Preferred car, honestly, not. To be honest, no. I like particularly the Porsche Cup, so to say, but I like the Audi, I like the Lambo, I like the Porsche, I like the Ferrari. I mean, I like the Mercedes a lot lately, so honestly, I don't know. On board for the Porsche, absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. There you are. This guy driving so fast, so close to me, unbelievable. Yeah, John Smith, he wasn't within a second. He was like within half a second consistently for all the laps, everywhere. He didn't lift off in the S's. My God, Philip. My God. Mercedes got an update in the last BOP update. It's a very good car now, very capable. It needs a little bit of work on the default setups, because the default setups remain the same, but we will get on that as well, and it will get even a new update, because Mercedes is giving us some very good information and is helping us a lot with the data of the very latest car. They didn't present it as an Evo car, but it got a lot of improvements, the car. That's why it's winning among all the new Evo cars as well. We're gonna have some amazing duels video here. Like that. Yeah, it's gonna be fantastic. Thank you, Andy. I'll be joining in just 1 second. Oh, this is so cool. Oh, look at this. Amazing. Whoa. Oh yeah, we're gonna have fun with those with this race on the duels playlist. Remember, guys, the duels playlist. I'm gonna update it with this kind of thing. It's amazing. Haha, he's flashing. Fantastic. All right, let's get out from here and let's get back into the server. Charlie, yes, depends on vehicle speed, load, mu of the surface, as well, pressure of the tire, camber as well. So all of that is you know, important for the slip angle and tire forces and everything. We're disconnected, so we have to wait a little bit. L9VHY. So let's try and find L9V. No, VHY. All right, let's search. There it is. Here we go. Oh, don't get it. So I cannot see my keyboard. I need to get a better keyboard with lighting. All right, so here we are. All right, so let's go into my ugly mug and work a little bit on the setup. So here we go, a little bit less temperature than before. Alright, so let's go to something like this. Yeah, and also this. Okay, makes sense for me at least, and we'll see what is going to happen. So let's move again on full fuel load and do some laps, although I'm a little bit tired. We also put this into performance mode like that. All right, and oh my god, 44.1. I hope this is a qualifying. Let's go in game and do some laps. All right. What a fantastic race that was. I'm very, very happy with myself. Ideally now, I don't want to start the pole position and stay at front. I want to follow someone, because this is a track which is extremely, extremely difficult to follow someone. and I need to get good. I need to get good at following other cars at Watkins Glen. It's really hard. Yeah, password is the same. Server is different, so you have to find the server. Which cars suffer more the aero wash? It depends on. It's not that easy to determine, because it really depends also on the aero development of the car. So, for example, the Ferrari, so to say, makes a lot of downforce, but it doesn't seems to have problems following other cars that close.
Yellow flag, be careful.
Okay, while the McLaren, for example, has more problems. So it really depends. It's not that easy, and of course it's based on the real car's performance and data. Grazie Fabrizio. Armor pressure's a little bit low.
Well done, mate. This has been your personal best. Yellow flag in sector 2.
All right. I'm already at a decent lap time. I was expecting to be slower, but not bad. A bit of understeer there. Oof.
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
Arthur, welcome to the channel, mate.
Yellow flag in sector 3.
Ah. Went a little bit too wide there. Not that bad on some situations. I still have to improve my driving. I must drive without it, but I like with, so we have said many times, you know, sim racers often find that something should be perfect and they use it no matter what because they don't have to think about it, so they think for other things instead.
Car on the left. Clear on the left.
Yeah. You have to also know that when traction control 2 is set to 0, that doesn't mean that its function is not there, because there is also some part of the function inside the traction control 1. So
Yellow flag in sector 1.
okay.
There's a slow car ahead.
Okay. Let's go back to the garage. Back to my Audi base. And have a look here. Right. Ha! Chris 55. That's a very difficult question. Generally, cold brakes at the beginning of braking, it's okay. It's okay. It doesn't matter because they heat up very, very fast. Very, very fast. I know that the time has finished, but I just want to do a couple of turns to see how it moves. The last corner is super tough. Yes, it is. First gear, bring speed to around 160 kilometers per hour in the middle of the corner. Bring much more speed than what you think it's possible. And keep, you know, some understeer while you're going to the apex, because the camber will then let you make the turn. watch a lot of replays. It's very important to understand the technique, because your mind tells you to do something and the actual technique is different. Let's say that it's better to keep your tire temps in the correct position, because for a race they will give you also better. Oh, that's good. They will give you also better, you know, tire wear and consumption during the stint. So yeah, tires are more important than brakes, honestly. Well, all right. So qualifying.
Give it all you got.
We just have like 2 laps or so. Let's make them count, as they say. And back. Channel. Usually, I always and you can find all my setups in the description. I always share the setups, but in this case, the setup is not mine. Oh. The setup is not mine. It has been given to me by the team who has invited me. So for now, I'm keeping it safe, secret. After the race, I might share it. If not, I will do something that it's, you know, confident for me to do similar lap times, and I will share this. So sorry, I apologize for that. It's not what I do usually, but for now it is like that. But don't worry, you're gonna get a very good setup in the end anyway. I'm always for, you know, share the things. It's not competitive here, so don't worry about that. We'll find a solution.
Slow car.
P20 has a cool name, Trabant. Ning 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 ning. 2-stroke.
There's a slow car behind.
That's true, David. How you doing, David? Ah, probably lost some pressure there. All right, let's go. Very bad start of the first lap. That's okay, let's put a lap in. As we said, better to start with, you know, not in front and follow people now. Excuses.
Yellow flag.
Ah, too much rear brake bias, come on.
Yellow flag ahead. Watch out. Well done, mate. That's the best.
Let's go.
Yellow flag in sector 1.
Come on, guys, let me pass. Oh man, come on, you lost your lap. Ah, that was a very fast lap. That was a very fast lap. Jesus.
Yellow flag ahead. Watch out in front. Session is now over.
That was a very fast lap. That was 33.8 maybe. Even less. Wow. That could have been a pretty impressive lap. Pretty impressive lap. Wow, 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 wow. That was going, yeah, at some point it was 43.8 something. Really? Cool stuff. Okay, so not a bad setup. It has some very good points. I could use a little bit more stability under braking, and I don't know how I'm gonna improve on that, but I will try. I will try. 43.8. So, all right. We'll see. So 42 laps, 42 liters for now. I think it was enough last time. Pressures were a tiny little bit low, but it was okay. We could use more stability. Nope, that's not gonna happen for 2023. It's gonna be terrible. Alright, so okay, 1 minute to go. So let's wait with our tires hot. Max out, what's your opinion? What's max out? Tortellini must be very fun at parties, I'm sure. Has so many arguments to give every time. Unfortunately for him, I'm right now using no negative camber, so it was even faster. So, but temperatures are lower, so it makes sense.
20 seconds.
Wow, 20 seconds. Let's go. And here you go,
10
fourth.
seconds.
Fourth position is good. Let's see what we can do. Please no punterino, absolutely.
Stay single file.
Hey, the sexy bots are here. Professional YouTuber. Yeah, recognition. Oh, I have the same Ferrari behind me, I think. Very nice blue color. Ooh, David. Hey, John and Andy, thank you guys. Michele also. Is Michele here tonight? I don't think so. Thank you, Bob, for our mods, as usual. Antimon just Rick Rollins everybody in the chat. What a troll. Live stream Rick rolling.
Going double file.
All right, here we are. Thanks, guys. Let's go. Let's try to repeat and do a good race.
Green light, give it all you can.
Oh, that was a good start.
Car on the left. Clear on the left.
Where are the other guys?
Car on the right. Clear on the right.
What happened to the other guys?
Clear on the right.
Misunderstanding there.
Yellow flag in sector 1.
What happened to Philip? He goes in P1. Mass casualties. What happened? Philip got a drive-through. Oh, temperature so low. Gonna have tires pressure issue probably. Ooh, yes. Ooh, I forgot to change the traction control and the brake bias as well. A little bit of a moment there. that's coming. Much Punterino. Oh, that's terrible. Hey Levi, how you doing, buddy?
Yellow flag in sector 1.
It's blame Andy, guys. It's all fault of Andy when he rickrolled us. Oof, bit too much. The shadows are catching me off guard. Having issues to control my lines. Thank you, Levi. Well, there's work to be done,
Thanks, Punjab.
but we will make it. Don't worry.
Victory so far.
Need more front brake bias. The temperatures are a little bit low, and the car moves around a tiny little bit. Because it's also much faster in the straight, so. Not bad though. Went down to second gear there? Why? That's good. That's good. That's good. I'm not driving so well. Not extremely confident with the changes. Some things are better, some things are worse. But I'm also not driving well enough as before. So let's wait a little bit so I get into the rhythm again, and then we can judge. little nuts on the wall. Hey, Mikrab, happy Friday pizza and noises. FIFU, not really a problem. I mean, if it doesn't upset you too much, it's normal to have the car, you know, bottoming out on some curbs, on some situations, as long as it doesn't upset the driving. Obviously, if it gives you problems, if the car jumps around, then that's a problem, but in this case, there's no issue. It's not something, you know, that you necessarily and absolutely eliminate from your setup. Those fast corners, it's much better. On the slower corners, it's not so good. Or I simply haven't learned how to drive it yet. So let's go back one and go up to 3 here. That look more comfortable. Let's see.
You're halfway through. Keep pushing.
Oof. Oh, that was Larry. Can we do a descent lap or not?
Yellow flag in sector 3.
Yeah, I'm just driving bad. The acceleration is solved, so that's better, I like it more. Yes, of course they have the tree protection. A lot. A lot of Kevlar as well. I mean, you have to see them to watch those cars when they go up the Orus in the night. It's full of sparks everywhere. Full of sparks. Wonderful. Hello, Mustafa. Ooh. Hello, Mustafa. Yeah, that goes at a good position to read the chat. Okay, let's try something. Let's go behind the other car. I want to follow a car, see how it feels. Mustafa, no worries. Okay, let us get overtaken by that Audi on the straight. And possibly by Tortellini as well, so that you can try and see how fast you can get. Alright, let's try. Tortellini is coming anyway, so. Should be here by a lap or two. It's really hard to follow other cars here. Very hard. I need a lot of practice on this. What did I do? I don't know. Yep, Tortellini is here. So we're gonna see where he will try to overtake us, which is also a good lesson. mistake in this turn.
Car on the right.
Ah,
On the right.
idiotic. Obviously, I don't have the concentration I had before now. Pressures are also not so good. Many excuses. Yeah, I need to get used to follow cars. That's not good. Not good at all. Very angry with myself. But that's practice for.
There's a slow car up ahead. Yellow flag, be careful there.
So we'll see if we can do a decent lap at least. Our last lap.
Leaders in the final lap.
Hello, Otto.
Car on the right. Clear on the right. Car on the right.
Woohoo! Let's
Clear on
go.
the right.
Yeah. Oh. I got so much understeer there.
Car on the left.
Just went out.
Clear on the left.
Ooh.
Leader has finished the race.
Yeah.
Great job, man. P2. Bring it back to the pits.
That was nice, that was interesting, but it also proves that I really need a lot of practice behind cars, because I lose so much in my rhythm. I'm not consistent at all. Well done, Tortellini. And I have big problems to follow the other cars. I'm getting good at speed, but I have big problems following cars. What?
Some light damage on the front of the car.
Ooh. Into the garage. Look my face. That was really bad. So you asked me for the pressures and consumption. Here it is. So as you can see, it's very, very good back and forth. Really nice. Light graining because of all the stupid things I did, but all in all, not bad at all. Nicholas, DeSantis, well done, guy. Great race. Sorry if I was a little bit too aggressive there. I wanted to, it's practice. I wanted to understand how I'm doing. So, and unfortunately, I wasn't really very, very concentrated. So, okay, we'll see. Let me save this setup. It wasn't that bad, but yeah. So. Yeah, I'm breaking the car. Yes, indeed. We're going to Francesco ci chiede, vorrebbe fare un giro in primavera con la Miata e chiede consigli, che strade da fare, non fare, posti da vedere, eccetera. Francesco, mi serve sapere dove sei, quanti chilometri vuoi fare, verso dove vuoi andare almeno prima di cominciare, capito, a parlare di queste cose. So Francesco asked he want to do a nice road trip on during spring next year with his Miata, and he's asked if I have any advice to give, where to go, what to see, and so on. So let me know where you are, let me know how much kilometers do you want to do, let me know what you would like to visit, and I'll try to tell you. Nicola started map 8, second gear, fantastic, mate. Tyler PL. Hello, Marian. Yes, Glen is one of the best tracks. Thank you, everybody. Oh, come on. All right. Venezia e Treviso.
Green light, give it all you can.
Venezia e Treviso, 2 settimane. So, we still have some practice to do. That's nice. Allora, se vuoi visitare circuiti ti direi vai verso il ring, ma se non vuoi visitare circuiti ci sono delle fantastiche strade da fare da una parte dell'Austria all'altra. Cioè entri da Brennero e poi vai verso Slovacchia. Fantastiche strade, tutte le strade secondarie sono dei posti meravigliosi, proprio da perdersi lì dentro. Francesco, welcome to the channel, mate. Thank you so much. Lucas got a strike at the start. Andrea, grazie mille. Grazie, fantastico. Praticamente, Francesco, tutte le Alpi dentro Austria sono meravigliose come strade, belle, bel ritmo, no? Belle cose da vedere, belle cose da fermarsi e mangiare, cioè tutte queste cose carine. Marjan, I wish. Kevin, mate, thank you so much for the support, buddy. Thank you so much, mate. Greatly appreciated. Thank you. And thanks to Andy as well. Sì, Andrea Di Giacomo, mangiare sempre prima degli eventi, se no chiudono tutti questi non capiscono niente. Cos'altro potresti fare? Potresti andare in Toscana ci sono bellissime strade, e poi andare in Toscana, Lazio e passare dall'altra parte. Alcune delle strade più fantastiche, puoi mangiare anche fino a tardi e poi mangiare, sai, italiano fantastico. Sicilia è molto bene, ma ovviamente molto lontana. Ho guidato non con la mia Miata in Sicilia e alcune strade dell'endoterra della Targa Florio anche lì sono fantastiche. Rain race. Yeah, we should do that, but next week. Let me check a couple of things. Actually, let me see if I can improve on a little bit of stability when I turn in. Alright, let's see. Lower camber it doesn't really mean a lot of less tire wear, at least as it is our tire model. It could be more later on, but in reality also, if you don't use enough toe, it shouldn't wear your tires, because on the turns you get all the flex and you get the tire to be flat on the asphalt. So also those tires could run even more negative camber, but it is Pirelli that by the rules limits the camber at -4 at the front and -3.5 at the rear. If you let the manufacturers free and the teams free, they would run -5 or more at the front and -4.5 at the rear. Francesco, se vuoi andare al ring, sì, le strade sono nel road trip. Se invece vuoi fare l'Austria solo, quelle non sono nel road trip. Ma se mi scrivi nel Discord, nella nostra community, possiamo fare un thread e ti posso magari dare un po' di strade lì. Let me try. We still have a little bit of time. Server has just restarted, so a little bit of practice. Because those tires are made to have, you know, a lot of camber, and of course remember that when you are turning, you know, the tire is practically flat with almost zero camber, so that's how they put the power down. Hungaroring, auto in affitto relativamente poco, e c'è questa famosissima strada andando verso Ungheria, Trasfar, whatever, I don't remember. Also some amazing roads over there. Watch out, calm down. Also, let's move up to the traction control and up with the brake balance. My Miata is a little bit of pitch sensitive, but nothing like a proper GT3 car, of course. But it does go into oversteer when you release a lot. I think I have done a walk through of Barcelona. So have a look at the circuit walks on the playlist on my channel, and I believe you will find Barcelona over there. To give you an idea, the Porsche Cup, okay, with Michelin tires, not in the SRO series, but in the single series of Porsche Cup, you know, the Euro Porsche Cup and so on, it uses Michelin tires, and they go to -5.5 at the front and -6 degrees at the rear. at least the last model. The newer model maybe has a little bit of better camber gain, so they might be using a little bit less static camber, negative camber, but not by much. I mean, they are definitely up to minus 0.5 and over that. Believe me, guys, nowadays racing cars, especially GT cars, use a lot of negative camber, a lot. I have bump stops on the Miata. It's one of my secret sauces on the suspension. Miata works a lot on the bump stops, especially at the front. John with the links as usual, thank you so much, mate. Ooh, there's a lot of oversteer there. Only one, not very recent.
Well done, mate. Personal best.
Yes and no, we have talked about that so many times. Negative toe is not really a hack, but it should be used less and it should have side effects, much more side effects on the tires, which it doesn't. So people can use it and get away with it even on races. So no, I would never add underbody or other aero parts in my Miata. I'm not on the absolute lap time. I'm about getting a better driver for myself. That's why I keep my Miata slow with a 1.6 engine. It makes me try to find as much speed inside the turns as possible. You know, bring as much momentum inside the turns instead of just having the power to get out. So I'm not for the absolute lap times on that car. I'm more about, okay, what can I do on my driving to become better? Yeah, initial D mentality, absolutely. Absolutely. Initial D, yes, of course it is just an anime and stats, but it has some very, very important teachings for any driver. Oh, server went out, but 44.1, it didn't count it. 44.1 on 30 liters. What was the temperature? 26. Ooh, Aris is getting fast. How about that? How about that? 44, almost flat, I think it was in the end. It didn't got the lap time because we just went out of the server, but it was 44 flat with 30 liters and temperature that wasn't cold. Let's save this setup. Let's save this setup. Very interesting. Let's save this to number 3. We are having, if I can add a little bit of stability into this setup, we are into something special, I think. On the turn-in, I need some stability on the turn-in, and it's gonna be a little bit special. Thank you, Tony Sack. I'm sorry about the other problems but I can tell you we're fixing that. All right, server went down. So let's have a little bit of gallery replays here. Nope, that's here. Oops, wrong. The first race was very nice, so let's have a look at the first race. Luke Addison asks if ACC has any drag coefficient implementation in it. Mate, sorry if I laugh a little bit at your questions. I know it's very valid by all means, and thank you for asking as well. No, that's the second race. I want to go to the first race, but this is a simulator, and we have so many things implemented that you couldn't even imagine. And by that I mean we don't just have drag coefficient implementation. We have proper slipstream with side wakes, the front car. If you have 2 cars or 3 cars, one behind another, they get even a better drag coefficient, and they start going in all together faster, and so on and so on and so on. So yes, we do have you know, drag coefficient implemented. Sorry again for laughing, but the other guys know that it's far more advanced than that. Hey Burek, thank you so much, buddy. Thank you, appreciate it. It's not Gran Turismo. It's on speed, yes. Spam sound downshifts are all the rage, says Ash Air. Well, not exactly. I'll tell you why. First of all, you cannot really spam downshift, because if you do, the system will not let you downshift. They are made in a way that they permit downshifts in a certain speed and in a certain way. So if you think that you are spamming them, you are actually downshifting as fast as you can with those gearbox. As a matter of fact, you can see some of the real races as well. There are some of the drivers, not all of them, that they are really abusing the gearboxes in the real races. In terms of reliability, those cars are practically tanks. They are indestructible. They can do 24 hours and they don't even raise their temperatures that much. Sometimes it happens by, you know, if the race is very dirty. Unfortunately, I would like to implement that better, but we haven't implemented properly the engine temperature when you go outside and you get a lot of dirt into the radiators. But even then, to give you an idea, the same GT3 engine almost in the GT2 GTE 488 Ferrari in the WEC did a Le Mans race 24 hours, and in the last 3 hours. An engineer, I won't say the name, I won't say the team, told me that they were running so hot at 130 degrees because the radiator was broken, was had a hole, and they were running like 130 degrees water. They managed to end the race after 3 hours running like that. They opened the engine was like, that's all you have to give me more. Those cars are absolute beasts of reliability. Yes, I think the guys, I understand, again, I repeat, and I apologize, and I'm sorry. I know it's frustrating that some parts of the controls in the multiplayer right now have issues. They are getting fixed as we speak, I can assure you about that. Hot fixes are on the way very, very soon, like, days or maybe a week or so, not months ago away. So they are working very hard to fix all that stuff. But I have to tell you that in terms of optimization, they took our physics engine, they took our graphics, they did an amazing job. The physics engine is the same. I think it is amazing the job the Untold guys, development team, did in order to make the actual Assetto Corsa Competizione physics engine running at 400 Hz in 1.8 as it is on the new consoles. Fantastic stuff. John Smith is correct. In GT3 specs, those engines are barely working at 500 horsepower. Those engines produce 500 to 550 horsepower, more or less, a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on the BOP on the car and so on. But I can tell you that those engines could easily, all of them, go well over 600 horsepower, almost all of them. Okay, most of them could easily go over 750 horsepower. Best engines could easily do, could do a full endurance race, maybe not 24 hours, but a full endurance race at 900 horsepower. Some of those engines, they are that good. Andrea, buonasera. So those cars are unbelievable good, and it also gives you an idea of where the modern engineering, what kind of levels have achieved. 900 HP would be 900 horsepower would be fantastic. That's true. Oh yes, oh sorry guys, sorry. Usual stuff. I was running the replay here and yeah, I wasn't watching. Sorry for keeping my face in. Could a restricted 720 or 488 GT3 break Belof's Nordschleife lap record? Yes, probably yes. Probably yes. One lap at 900 horsepower or 800 horsepower. Yeah, I think they could. I mean, you saw what the prototype did, and honestly, truth to be told, the prototype lap was an amazing lap. Prototype Porsche lap was an amazing lap, but honestly, you could see that sometimes the driver was like, okay, now I'm risking my life here. Let's raise the foot a little bit or stay calm, because you could see it in his face that sometimes he was like, oh wait a minute. Yeah. Come on, Fifu. Oh, come on. That one. Pretty nice to look. Works like that. That Porsche, yeah, could have gone much faster for sure. But I think, I want to think, I don't know, maybe Philip is still watching. In that race, I wasn't doing any mistakes, so it wasn't that easy to overtake me. So probably if he could have overtaken me, he could have just disappeared, but it wasn't that easy to overtake me with the Porsche. Asher asked a very nice question about how to change behavior in the corner. Poke on, entry, braking instability, nervousness, then it becomes understeer, and so on. So, first of all, everything you do in the setup is compromise. You lose from some point, you gain in another point, and so on. So you want to find your correct compromise. I have done some very nice videos that obviously they are basic videos, not for very advanced drivers. Sorry, I don't know what level you are. But even for some advanced drivers that are having issues or what kind of setup they want to deal with, I think some of those videos, like for example that video with the Porsche at Zandvoort, gives you an idea of, okay, what a proper correct car should do. It should be stable when I'm coasting, okay? It should always be stable, and when I'm going on and off the accelerator, it shouldn't over-rotate. It should be able to, you know, for me to keep the steering wheel at a certain angle, and the car shouldn't over-rotate when I'm playing with the pedals. Once you have achieved this kind of behavior from the car, then you can start doing, you know, compromises. A little bit more oversteer at the turn in, a little bit less understeer at the exit, and so on and so on. So I think that's important to understand. Then again, as I told you, it's all a compromise. For example, I wanted less understeer here on the exit. I've managed to do that, but now I have some oversteer at the turn in with the new setup. So it's a compromise. I'm trying to find out what to do. Happy birthday. Thank you, mate. It's not my birthday yet, but thank you. Stroke asked if I like using a super stiff brake or a softer, more spongy feel. I like a lot super stiff brakes, a lot, but I cannot use them because otherwise I will create enormous fatigue on my tendons and muscles, because I'm driving like at least 6 hours a day, and then, you know, maybe later again in the evening. And so in the end I just got used to drive a more spongy feel on the brake. It gives me a little bit less control for the absolute maximum lap, but it helps me staying consistent and doesn't fatigue as much my feet and my legs. So I can also, it helps me in the race because that way I'm more consistent for a longer period of time. If you can, you know, if you're not driving so many hours as me, and you don't have, you know, you're much more trained than me, for example, then you can, I think, get away with more precision if you use a stiffer brake pedal. Yeah, I understand your car is one of those nice videos. Thank you, Ash. Thank you so much, buddy. Thank you, Mikael. Yeah, Christopher, you know, the behavior of a car is never just the setup of the car. Okay, especially here in Assetto Corsa Competizione, we have a little bit of luck that the setups most of the time are at least decent. Okay, so the behavior of the car is decent most of the times for most of the tracks. So as long as you make your pressures work correctly, you shouldn't have big issues. But much of how the car behaves is also highly dependable of what you're doing with your inputs. Okay. Ciziano says seems like in real life GT3 have relatively spongy pedals from on boards. True, but also not true. Depends a lot on the driver's feel. Some pedals, I know, for example, David Perel uses a very long pedal movement, so it's much more spongy and soft. Other drivers use a very stiff pedal, so it's up to the driver to you know, choose what kind of pedal likes most. Jean Roderick says on the Audi Evo 2 he notices that rake changes have very little effect. Did they do something with the floor to make it that insensitive? Not only they have very little effect, actually they have some effect, but if you notice at some point, so they have effect up to a point, and then going even higher at the rear end, they have less effect. So the work they have done to the under tray and most importantly to the rear wing is all made in a way to make the car less speed sensitive, so it can be driven to the limit in an easier way and make the drivers arrive at the limit faster and easier and for a longer period of time as well. So it's all up to all the changes they did is up to that. That's the new generation of those cars. Even the BMW M4 is like that. The Aston Martin is like that, for example. The new Mercedes, with some of those updates you can already see on the car, on the new update right now in the public version. The new Mercedes is towards that situation now. So all the cars trying to have less pitch sensitivity. $992 GT3 Aereo, I don't know yet. I haven't got yet the data. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be probably less draggy. We'll see. Yes, Cinciano, absolutely. Brake pedals, steering wheels, acceleration pedals, everything can be customized for the drivers. Roadrunner, I think the Ferrari's behavior on bumps, it's much better right now since the latest update. Much better. In fact, as a matter of fact, the top drivers can use even more aggressive setups without that much risk of, you know, exploding on bumps. The cockpit car, the Ferrari, is driven by Philip. I don't remember his last name. He was here in the chat before that. Very good driver. We had some amazing races. Let me have a look from my side, or maybe change a little bit the camera. No, Christopher, because that 911 runs at WEC, and we are doing the SRO organization races. We have nothing to do with WEC. We don't have neither the license or the ability to do that. Look at the oversteer at the exit. It's wonderful how the car moves around. I like it. Because the Nordschleife is not in the SRO organization circuits. Haha, Christopher, great car, mate. Drink. True. Yeah, let's drink. Why drafting should save some tire wear? At most it should save some fuel, but not tire wear, because obviously when you're drafting you also have less downforce, and less downforce means you're using more mechanical grip to turn the car around, so you should probably overheat and use your tires even more. What's my opinion on page setups? My general opinion is that sim racers talk too much about setups and less about driving style. That's my general opinion. Darwin puts out popcorn. Totally, you know. Tortellini doing donuts at the outside. You see the strange lines I'm doing here? Those strange lines practically make so that the Porsche has to get outside of my slipstream, and at some point it has also to lift the pedal. It doesn't work with all the cars because you have to know the opponent. So Porsche, I know it doesn't have the top speed of my Audi. It has a little bit less, couple 3 or 4 kilometers less top speed. So it cannot practically go outside and overtake me. With another cars, let's say the Honda, that it is faster than me, I wouldn't do that because he can go from the outside and then still overtake you on the straight. So the frequency is 400 Hertz. What GT2 car I'm most excited for? I think the Mercedes AMG. I think also I'm curious about the KTM as well, which really is spaceship to look at. But to be honest, I really want to see the Mercedes because it's gonna have 750 horsepower, something like that. Also, I would like to drive the Porsche 935. That seems also very nice. The turbo engine. Burek, I'm one of the almost founders of Kuno, so I'm always into everything. Quake, it's 400 since the update 1.8. We made also a very nice keynote about it. We explained. There's also a very nice forum dev blog where I'm explaining how and what we've changed. And it's not just 400 Hertz, but it also calculates a lot more stuff. And we also have some extra ideas for later on. New. 1.8 has been out on PC for like 8-9 months now, something like that. Big difference between 10 Newton meters and 15 Newton meters? No, not really. Not 300 euros difference, 10 Newton meters. My personal opinion. Might be wrong because many things change, but if the internal if we're talking about the same wheel with the same internal electronics, which are very, very important, then it's the same thing, honestly. Micrab, it depends what GPU we're talking about, but definitely go for i7 or i9. Honestly, I'm not sure how the prices are right now, Best CPU right now on the market for ACC seems to be the AMD 5800 3D with good memory, or the very top i12 whatever. Frequency we went, I have tested up to 2000. We still need more. I mean, if I could have 10,000 I would get it. Never enough. What is the most complex thing to simulate? Oh dear. Tire model and up to a point aerodynamics are extremely complex in terms of equations. Most complex thing in terms of resources needed is tire points collisions with the millions of polygons of the laser scan surface. That's the most taxing thing on the CPU. Rob Zobi asks, what's the main difference between 330 Hz and the new 400 Hz? It's very simple. Practically, when you are running at a certain frequency, means that you are updating the physics engine many times in a second. Okay, so before that we were updating like 333 times per second the physics engine, and now we are updating 400 times per second. Now, why is this important? This is important because, for example, let me see if I can find also, because I don't want to go by memory. So like 250 kilometers, I think it was like something like 69 meters per second. Okay. So let me find out the dev blog. So then it means that at 300, yes, this is it. At 333 hertz, so 333 refreshes per second, you update the collisions of, for example, the tires with the surface every 21 centimeters. Okay. If you are updating at 400 per seconds, that means you are updating the collisions with the ground every 17 centimeters. So it's like 4, almost 5 centimeters smaller, more precision. Okay, which 5 centimeters is the difference between touching the curb, not touching the curb, going up one step of the curb, or not even understanding one step of the curb. That's around how much? 20% improvement. 20% improvement is important. So that's the main difference. Fabio, it's always a compromise. Yes, you can find a very high-end CPU, right, with a very high-end GPU, and run to 2000 Hertz. Fantastic. What happens when you add 80 AIs together? It won't run, even at the very high end. What happens when the guy that has this super high-end computer says, you know what, the computer is super high-end, I want to run 3 4K screens? Again, it will run. So you see, it's always a compromise. How much high you can go with how many graphics and how beautiful it's going to be running the game, with how much frequency you can run, and the AI, and everything else, it really is hard. Let's have a look at the other cars. Let's have a look at the Ferrari here. L'importante è la fisica, quella che fa dentro il gioco in ogni caso, perché alla fine cioè, è quella che importa di più. Christopher, the problem with the damage, which I'm the first to say that it's not enough and I wish we can have more, is that first of all, some manufacturers doesn't want you to lose parts, you know, having parts flying or having excessive damage on the car, so you cannot do that anyway. On top of that, it takes too much effort to gain something that in the context of a racing simulator, very high competitive simulator, isn't really much worth it. You know, it's not really worth it. So why you should do that in the end? Doesn't really make much sense to lose so many development time to have something fantastic in terms of damage modeling, and then people mostly won't use it. It's different like from a simulator like BMG, where many people, many casual gamers go into BMG to watch cars crash, you know. In Assetto Corsa Competizione, most of the people go in to watch cars race, which is different. So at some point you say, okay, how much development time do I need to make a fantastic damage model, visual damage model? Way too much. Okay, let's focus on doing other things and put a decent mechanical damage. So for example, Assetto Corsa Competizione has industry leading damage model on the tires. No other sim has as much damage simulated in the tires as Assetto Corsa Competizione. So, you know, lose some, gain some. At some point you need to have some priorities. Motogrid says, how does it feel to be part of a game that does well like this? Bloody hell. I would go on to say, you know, I'm so honored and I feel so proud and so on, and you have heard me say that so many times, and it also becomes a little bit cringe, and I don't want to do that. I'll tell you what, when we had that much success with Assetto Corsa 1, it is mainly so satisfactory for us. And when we tried to do Assetto Corsa Competizione, and we had some issues at the initial release of Assetto Corsa Competizione, there was so much fear and stress from my part, and I believe pretty much all the colleagues, that people might have thought, you got lucky with Assetto Corsa 1, but you weren't really capable of repeating, you know. You just got luck, and everything went together in Assetto Corsa 1. When finally we fixed Assetto Corsa Competizione and we had a fantastic product, and we are so happy to have people, you know, liking it so much and having such great success. It's not only that you feel proud for what you had, it's not only that, you know, you feel very lucky to be able to work in such a project with such capable and amazing colleagues, but you really feel at some point accomplished and say, you know what, it wasn't luck. It wasn't luck. We are really capable. We can do it, you know, and that gives you a sense of accomplishment and feeling that because I'll be very honest with you. Big percentage of our lives is luck, because, you know, obviously, you know, if I was born into a third world country, you know, and my parents didn't have the opportunity to send me to Italy to work, or if I hadn't met with Stefano and Marco, or, you know, whatever happens in your bad and good in your life, much of it is luck. Some of it is opportunity, and some of it is finding yourself in the correct moment with the correct abilities to grab the opportunity. Okay? So, but, you know, when you have that opportunity and you manage to do it 2 times in a row, then you cannot feel otherwise than, you know what, yes, I'm capable. I had luck. I was, very, very grateful for all the good things that happened. Many people, you know, helped me and everything, but at the end of the story, I was also capable of doing it. So, you know, it feels good. It feels good, especially when your project, especially when your project manages to be the best in the world, at least on some aspects. For example, I could say almost definitely that the sound of ACC is the best in the world. I could say that the physics of ACC are amongst the best, the top 3 in the world, and not just third but battling for the best position. So the graphics are best in class, for example. So yes, it makes you really, really proud, really proud. I've lost some messages for my long monologue as usual. Marchetti, assolutamente, se cambi i punti di ancoraggio cambi tutta la geometria della sospensione e di conseguenza i leveraggi, e di conseguenza come questi leveraggi ricevono le forze dal corpo a vettura, dalle gomme, e quanto il corpo a vettura andrà in bricheggio o in rollio e così via. Mr. Casillo is certainly the GOAT. Certainly the GOAT. It's a genius. ACC is too serious. I'd love to see something crazy one day. I agree with that, FIFO. I agree with that. It needs something to make happy more people, not just the absolute full competitive people. But ACC was born to do that. Was made to do that. Just that. I'm not talking arcade. I'm talking. There are many things you can do with a 100% realistic physics model. Damage and everything. There are more things to do than just doing laps like a maniac into a racetrack. But yeah, as I said, ACC was made for that. Dexter, as we said, the developers are working as we speak for hot fixes. They should arrive very, very soon. Very, very soon. Not months. Probably not even many weeks, like days or 1 week or 2 weeks or something like that. Probably much better, much sooner. Miguel, focus driving on the aggressive setup with correct pressures. Then you should work in different setups. Correct pressures is number 1 thing. We do not support third parties. It's not something we can do for many, many reasons, legal reasons as well. So officially we do not support third parties. Andrea, se non sbaglio ci sono già companion per prendere gli export dei server sociali, se no come fa lo Fuel Motorsport o simracing.gp e tanti altri. Non saprei dirti tutto perché non sono molto informato su quello, ma ci sono. The CDA billboards are part of a collaboration with David Perel. That's a whole different story. It's not supporting his game; it's advertising in the game in those billboards with SRO, the SRO Esports Management, 505 Kunos, and CDA, which is a company. So it's a completely different thing. How best to learn Italian as an Englishman? Obviously, you need to study something, at least to start understand, and then join Italian community and or forum and start reading and talking and writing. Dimid has subscribed. Thank you, Wade, for the follow. Single race series again? Yes, absolutely. We should. Actually, the community still does them every week. Best authentic place to visit Italy for actual culture. Tuscany, I think. Yeah. Visit Tuscany, Florence, of course, but then get out of Florence and visit the small villages around Tuscany. Road trip. Great stuff. It's pretty much the same everywhere, to be honest. Italians are very, proud of their culture. And it's different culture from place to place in terms of what you eat, how you eat it, and so on, because Italians are very, very precise about that. But with their differences, everywhere you go, you will find great things to eat, great things to look at, great nature. I have to be honest, Italy is one of the best compromises in Europe. It's one of the best places to be. The nature, culture, museums, food, wine, it's all pretty amazing at very good prices. I tamponi no, non si scaldano e non diventano fissi, non diventano morbidi, sono fissi. Tra l'altro questa è una bella domanda che mi sono sempre chiesto e devo chiedere più agli ingegneri, ma non credo che questo tipo di tamponi diventano morbidi, onestamente. La isteresi è simulata, sì. San Gimignano è bellissimo, un posto che mi piace molto. Sono stato 2 volte. Rome is amazing. Honestly, Romans are way too chaotic evil, if you know what I mean. They are absolutely bonkers crazy. So me liking to drive everywhere, I have issues with Romans traffic. People are, honking and arguing about everything. I've once had this experience where, for example, Romans are always honking when the green light goes into the semaphore. And I had a guy with his car beside me, first row on the semaphore, and the semaphore goes green, and the guy's like beep, then what the fuck? Yes, I'm first, and then moves on. They're absolutely bonkers crazy. Costas, that's a little bit strange because normally, your brain should get used to one FOV, FV, or FOV, and you should feel a little bit different in different ones. But, man, if it works for you and you don't go from one extreme to the other, but just small changes, why don't you use it? By all means, it's like moving your seat a little bit farther or forward in the real car at the end. So, yeah. Hey, Burek, fantastic. If you can choose the number of hertz, how high should be the refresh rate for the physics to refresh I would go with something like 4,000. I would gladly compromise for 4,000 hertz. So 4 megahertz, sorry. Was that Philip? I don't know. Aris, ma la massa sospesa che fa inclinare la ruota facendo perdere campanatura in curva? No, quello fa perdere campanatura in curva a causa della geometria della sospensione. Quello, siccome la geometria della sospensione è simulata al 100%, chiaramente anche questo è simulato. Yeah, Philip Flash a couple of times. A parte se intendi qualcos'altro che non ho capito. Maybe 10 years, yeah, you never know. You never know. Inclinare le ruote, il peso della massa sospesa per via della forza centrifuga. Non credo di seguirti, oppure se ho capito bene quello che intendi non è corretto, perché il peso non fa inclinare le ruote, la massa, cioè il hub è veramente fisso, le sospensioni sono estremamente rigide, non si piegano a causa della forza centrifuga. A causa della forza centrifuga flette la gomma, ma quello non è il peso. Quella è la forza laterale con il load che fa flettere la gomma, ma la flessione della gomma, cioè il camber è quello che dai sulla sospensione sul hub, poi la flessione della gomma fa arrivare, cioè fa toccare tutto il battistrada con tutta la gomma, che normalmente sul rettilineo a causa del camber non tocca tutta. In curva con tutto il peso, il load e con tutta la forza centrifuga fa flettere la gomma e fa toccare tutto il battistrada sull'asfalto, che ovviamente se tu non hai camber alla fine finissi sulle macchine stradali ad esempio a toccare l'asfalto in curva con l'esterno della gomma, il che è molto peggio. Dante, oh, definitely mate, definitely. I think Lexus is always have been a very nice car. Tricky on some situations, but always quite competitive car. Possibly not winning everywhere, but quite strong also on other on some circuits. It does feel rigid. We are working and trying to find out exactly what is happening. I won't say much about that right now because we're still working on it. I want to have a definite proof before you know, telling you whatever. I can show you a bit of, you know, I can show you some of the practices we're doing. That's I think it's interesting for you maybe to see. Of course you will say this is not correct, but it's part of some tests we are doing, and this is actually a good result. I won't comment why and how, but it does exactly what we expected it to do with the values that we put on. So that makes sense here. it's fun to see, it's stupid, and you might say, oh, that's completely broken. But actually, it's not. It's not. For the things that we were testing and the values that we put on, it was correct. So yeah, just an idea, you know. Anyway, enough of that. Top secret stuff. Top secret stuff might bring to something positive, or might not. So I don't want to talk about that until we have you know, a proper idea of what's going on. Sim racing, you mean in terms of gameplay? Nobody uses 4000. I mean, somebody can use 4000, but obviously if you are simulating just one thing, it's easy. If you're simulating lots of things like us, it's not easy. Real professional sims run by manufacturers, obviously they can, you know, give just one PC only for the tires, so to say, or only for whatever the suspension tires together, and they run over 4000 nowadays. It's still, I can tell you that they have a full development team to work just in ways on how to find solutions to make the simulation run faster. I mean, there are still simulators of professional Formula 1 teams that they cannot go faster than 1000 hertz, so to say, because their team hasn't arrived at that level yet. But as I told you, they are many manufacturers, big manufacturers, that they have a full big development team working on ideas and techniques on how to run a physics engine on higher frequencies. It's that important. No, the Valentin says, would that help with the car sometimes jumping off like crazy when they bottom out over some curbs? Yes and no. I'll tell you what's happening there. On those situations where the cars jump when they bottom out on curbs, half of those situations are something went bad in the physics, the update and the refresh rate wasn't good enough, and so at some point the physics engine thought that the bottom of the car was under the terrain, and so it made it jump way too much than what was needed. Half of them are correct, because if you go and see some of the situations that are happening in real races, you are going and see that sometimes that racers, real life racers, go way too aggressive over the curbs. The cars jump out a lot, and by a lot I mean like jumps like, you know, 2 meters in the sky in the air, flying around like crazy. But obviously when this happened in real life, the driver will go back to the pits and say, oh, I didn't do anything stupid, and you know, the team principal will go like, spin. What the fuck are you talking? This is the telemetry, this is what you do, this is the video. Next time, don't go over the curb, you know. Or, you know, it goes into the race engineer and says, what the fuck did you do with the setup and why we are running so low? When this happens in sim racing, number one reason is, oh, game is broken. Even if it's realistic, game is broken, always. So it's difficult to discuss about such things because, you know, the first thing you're gonna find into the forums, social videos, influencers, YouTubers, whatever, is, oh, look at that, game is broken, that's so stupid. And then you have to go into there and try to make an articulate argument, which is as long as I'm talking right now, which means that if you try to write it into a comment, it will be long like this, and nobody's going to read it. Or worst case scenario, everybody will say, here's the developer trying to defend the game. As usual in these conditions, the truth is somewhere in between. Half of them I would say, and I'm being a little bit good, you know, half of them is the game's fault, half of them are actually realistic. I would even go to say that 70 is realistic and 30 is the game's fault. It's more rare that the game goes that crazy. But I would say and admit that yes, sometimes the game goes crazy. Hey, bye Kev. Take care. Bye Andy. Fabio, no, because we try to run the physics via NVIDIA physics or stuff like that, similar. Unfortunately, those kinds of physics core engines that, you know, control collisions and stuff like that, while they are faster than Audi that we're using, they are not precise enough. So, because they are not precise enough, it means that your suspensions are not moving properly, your tires are not touching the ground properly, and other stuff similar. So we tried a lot. We tried the physics engine of NVIDIA, we tried some other engines. They are amazing physics engine. They're doing a great job for some things like, you know, collisions on multiple boxes, walls that they are breaking and stuff like that. But unfortunately for our physics engine, in terms of what the car is doing, rigid body movements, they are not precise enough for the solutions that we are requiring, you know. So that's a problem. Hey Ando, thank you buddy. Good night Matthias, take care. What time is it? It's almost 1 o'clock. Yeah, at some point we will stop the stream. Med says why some cars are faster with very high TC, especially for example 488 Evo 111 TC, 911 TC. So the same thing again. Let's move on. So first of all, the traction control that you have in the cars are completely and specific and singular for every single car. So traction control 1 into the Audi Evo 2. It's very different from traction control 1 into the Audi Evo 1. It's very different from the Audi non-Evo. And especially it's extremely different from traction control level 1 at the McLaren or at the Ferrari, or, you know, so every traction control that every car has is extremely different. And those values are also based for our understanding of the initial data that we have on the electronics of the car, which is one of the components that the manufacturers do not really love to, share with us that much, because since there are many restricting and limiting rules in GT3 racing, where you can gain speed is in the electronics. So there's a lot of work going on in the electronics, right? So what we're doing is the best we can do. On top of that, sometimes, as we said, you know, who can say that that traction control is better? Only the aliens. And that's the 1% of the sim racers. So one alien, for whatever reason, might be his driving style, might be his, you know, his, how to say, his setup might be, for whatever reason, you know, he's driving a different car than you. He's driving a completely different car than you. And that alien, for whatever reason, decided that the 488 is running better with a 911 traction control. And then the 99% of the people get his setup some way, or sees and watches a video on YouTube and sees the traction control there he is using, and he won the race, and everybody goes crazy and like, oh, we have to use this traction control because it is the fastest. Point. Full stop. Fastest ever. I'll give you an example. The setup I got from the racing team, amazing setup, very good. You know, esports, high-end, high-class setup, is using on the Audi traction control 1, level 1, and traction control 2, level 0. And this is the typical for the Audi. Everybody, if you ask, they will tell you, oh yes, traction control 2 in the Audi doesn't work, it makes your car slow or whatever. Fastest way is traction control 0. Traction control 2, 0. On the new setup I did, which I'm having some success, I'm getting faster myself with traction control 2 at level 3. So all by miracle, traction control 2 at the Audi now works for me. So if you are not an alien, if you are not top 100, you know, don't go crazy about it. Just, you know, experiment, have fun, whatever. But don't think that whatever you saw one alien using is the best for you, or it's even the best for the aliens. Sometimes I've seen setups with aliens that are completely crazy. They are extremely fast, and you know what? You give them another setup and they go at the same speed. At the same identical speed. It's true that some setups managed by the aliens can get faster, but we're talking some tenths here and there, and then it's also true that you give them something else which is extreme as well, but different, and they go at the same speed. So yeah, don't think the modern simulators, not just Assetto Corsa, but also iRacing, they're factored to all those top-end simulators. Every time I see all the normal and very good drivers, but normal guys, not top 100 aliens, going crazy and, oh, this is a hack and it works everywhere, set your car like that. And you know what? It's never the case. It's never the case. They just get fixated with an idea, and everybody uses the same thing until some alien works, finds something, wins with a different setup, and then everybody again uses the other thing. It's human nature, I guess. Marchetti, in uno dei miei video c'è, vediamo se lo trovo qua, c'è la dimostrazione di una bella applicazione web dove puoi giocare con le sospensioni in tempo reale, con le geometrie delle sospensioni, e questo secondo me, se lo guardi, ti aiuta molto a capire certe cose. Vediamo se riesco a trovarlo. Racing Aspirations, I think it's called. Vediamo. Yeah, this is it. So, Marchetti, ti mando un link qui, prova a vedere, giocaci un po', secondo me ti divertirai tantissimo. This, guys, is for Marchetti, who is trying to understand suspension geometry, movements, and roll, body roll, and camber gain or not. So, this link here, it has an interactive suspension geometry, and can really help you understand how the suspensions give roll and loose roll, camber or whatever. You know, you can design your own suspension, and you can move the body around, simulating roll and so on. It's interactive. It's very enjoyable. That's a fantastic website, and it's a great tool to work with and to learn also. No, Zapsi, Braille is always good to us. Echo chamber, yes, that's the exact term, Kevin. Thank you so much. That's a very specific, very good term for that. Echo chamber. For what we were talking before about setups and stuff. Also, reminder, guys, in a setup you have a lot of values to play with. Let's say you have 20 values to play with. If for whatever reason you convince yourself, or the whole community is convinced that some of those values you just set them to the max or to the minimum, and you forget about them, and you do that for say 5 values, then automatically you don't have to deal with 20 values anymore, but you have to deal with 15 values anymore, which is great for your confirmation BS and less things to have your brain work with. So this is why very often you see on many sims that people go, oh, get that value, set it to the max, done, don't touch it, this is the best you can do, which is not always the case. Actually, it's hardly the case. But it helps out because at the maximum or the minimum, it's still in the window that it should be. Okay? And automatically you have one less value to deal with. Win-win, you see? Ah, yes, that's exactly what John Smith was saying. We said the same thing, and I haven't read what you said. Ronnie, next is, as we have already announced, the new GT3 cars and GT2 series as well. No, guys, new data on those cars are still under development, and we don't have the new data yet. Happy Friday, it's absolutely, well, it's Saturday now. So happy weekend, yay! Caster and its effect on the car. Best thing to describe caster is the wheels on the market, how you call it, the supermarket, I forgot the name in English. So most importantly is that the axis of rotation of the wheel ends up trolleys, yes, cart and trolley. So the supermarket trolley. So you can see that while you pushing the supermarket trolley, because the axis of rotation of the small wheels is ahead of the wheels, okay, the wheels always end up going straight, going behind the axis of rotation, and they go straight. This is why that's the caster mainly. So where that axis is in terms of where the center of the wheel is and when the rotation axis is. This is what happened in the suspension geometry. We are talking much less, of course, distance than the trolleys. But this is why when you are raising the caster, your steering wheel becomes heavier and wants to rotate back to the straight line, because the wheels, the front wheels, want to rotate back and go straight. Okay, so that's the main thing that you feel on the steering wheel. But on top of that, caster also changes how the wheels gain and lose camber when you're steering. If you have seen any old Mercedes or modern Mercedes cars, street cars, and also BMW cars, they have a lot of caster, and you can see that they have practically no negative camber. Okay, and when they start steering, the outside wheel gains a lot of negative camber, and the inside wheel gets positive camber. So they are from like this, they go like that. Okay, so this is what caster does. And when this happens, it's quite important, because obviously your outside wheel gets negative camber, which helps the tire to have more grip, and your inside wheel also gets positive camber, which again helps with the footprint of the inside wheel, which again gives you some lateral grip. On top of that, it gets even more complicated, because the outside wheel gains negative camber, it goes like that, and the outside of the car goes lower. And sometimes the inside wheel doesn't gain enough positive camber, or even loses some negative camber, because, for example, on the racing cars you are like that, okay? You are like that with lots of negative camber static. You start turning, and now I'm exaggerating, okay? And you go like this, turning, and this one, the internal one, goes straight, or a little bit positive, which means that the outside of the car, it's going down, and the inside of the car, it's going up. That means that the rear inside wheel also goes up, and it starts spinning because it has less load. It's a jacking up situation, okay? And because it's spinning, if you have a locked enough differential, the torque will go to the outside rear wheel, and it will help the car rotate. So it really gets complicated. So lots of caster can help you with rotating the car in slow turns when you need a lot of steering wheel input, because the wheels will turn a lot, and the effects of the camber will be very evident, and the car will get jacked up on the rear wheel. So with a close differential, you will have rotation. But if your differential is very open, then the rear wheel will just spin out, and you will lose forward moment, and you won't have rotation. How do you know you have too much or too little caster? It takes some engineering work as well on the big teams. It's not that easy. Usually though, because it isn't that much important on this kind of cars with a lot of downforce and proper suspension and stuff like that, it's like, you know, we know that the good window for the car is from this to that, and then the driver will tell you, steering wheel is too heavy, I don't like it, and it's also dead. Because if you have too much camber, the only thing you feel is always realigning force, nothing else. With less camber, you might have less realigning force, but you also feel more of the understeer. The steering wheel is possibly less strong, but more communicative sometimes. So in the end, it's a little bit of, you know, the driver will say, too much, I don't like it, or too little, I don't like it, and they will find a compromise. The aggressive setup is usually made specifically for the car-track combination. So you go into a different track, you get a different aggressive setup. Yes, of course, Jason. I have, you know, the physics is the same. We try everything if we have the time. Marketing, because probably you like the steering wheel to be more strong, okay? So you can if you have a direct drive wheel which have a lot of force, you can make a very nice test. So put as low caster as you can, okay, and crank up the force on your steering wheel. If you feel that it is more communicative, then you can see that the less caster gave you a little bit of extra communication when you go into understeer, because in understeer the steering wheel will become lighter, but it's still strong enough for you to like it when you are still on the grid. No, it's absolutely sorry. Tortellini, yes, touché for the podcast. Kingpin also was with, well, all those are measurements around where your center of the tire footprint is, and where the axis of rotation is. All those are different measurements around there. If you change the suspension geometry to have more caster, you're also changing the kingpin and the scrub at some point. Scrub range is the distance between the axis of rotation, but the distance in terms of lateral, so not in longitudinal but laterally, the distance of the rotation, the axis of rotation, and the center of the footprint. 369 Dark Knight says, if I want to decrease the setting of traction control, will it help to increase or decrease the preload? Well, it depends what we want to do. The preload acts in one way in slow speeds and lots of torque, low gears, and in the complete opposite way in high speeds with less torque on the wheels because you have higher gears. So if you are in low speeds and you are decreasing the traction control, but you want also to not have oversteer, then you need to use less preload. If you want to have rotation because you want to have oversteer, then you decrease the traction control and you use also higher preload. There is a too long didn't watch video about how the differential preload works. You need to watch this carefully to understand what the preload does, and then you will also understand what happens when you decrease the traction control with a similar situation. What is the biggest influence on tire temps in ACC behind ambient? The biggest influence is sliding. Sliding around is generating a lot of heat. Sliding around with more load on the tires is generating even more heat. Sliding around with more load on a hot surface is generating even more heat. Sliding around with more load on a hot surface on a hot ambient air temperature is not letting the tires cool out on the straight, so you're gonna get even more heat when you go in the next turn. And all of that again with hotter brakes, it's also gonna generate more heat and won't let the tires cool down during the straights. And stiffer suspension will also make the tire sides work harder and flex more, and that generates more heat again, and so on and so on. If you lower camber, no, that cannot raise PSI. The PSI depends on the temperature of the inside air of the tires. If the air is hotter, then the PSI raises. And to do that, you have various different things and aspects in the suspension, but it will only change by 5 to 10 degrees at most. No, I don't think DHF rolling resistance is black and black. We need to do also more changes than that. I do not think it will shake up a lot the BOP. I don't think so. Hey Barry, welcome to the channel, mate. There is no track requiring positive camber. No track at all. No, there is no track requiring. Modern cars, modern radial tires need all the negative camber you can get them and some more extra. The only moment in history where cars were using positive camber were back in the 40s and 50s, and that was because the actual hub and suspension geometry, because of engineering limits and material fatigue and reliability, they couldn't use, you know, the suspension geometry we can use now, and so the only thing they could do was a hub that was vertical, and so the axis of rotation was vertical. There was a lot of space, so the end center of the wheel was too far away from the axis of rotation. That would mean that they had too much scrub, okay, too much scrub radius. So practically, let's go back here. Here is the center of rotation of the hub, and here was the wheel. And if both were, as it were, you know, with zero camber, the distance between them was way too much. That means that every time you get a bump, and back in the days the roads were very bumpy, or even not even asphalt, okay, and there weren't any servo-assisted, hydraulic-assisted steering wheels, so everything was mechanic. That means that every time the wheel would get any kind of bump from the road, and as I said, there were a lot, it would give a lot of movement, rotation movement to the hub, because the lever, you know, was very long. So every single movement would give a lot of movement and vibrations and ugly, you know, movements to the steering wheel. So drivers couldn't be precise with that, and it was very hard, and practically you had the car following and going wherever they want. The only way to make this kind of distances work, and there wasn't any other way because the materials were as they were, and the suspension geometry was limited to that, was to add positive camber on the roads, on the wheels. So with that way, with positive camber, you will see, if you go and search all the 40s and 50s cars, especially Formula 1 cars, you will see a lot of positive camber. So positive camber would bring the center of the footprint closer to the center of axis. Less leverage, so every bump would move less the steering wheel. That's why. And yes, of course, it simulates a pneumatic trail, absolutely. Uh, 1 a.m. for me. Yeah, it's about time to close the streaming. The wheelbase, yes, changes with caster, of course. Not that much, because obviously on those cars the wheelbase is very long, and the differences in caster are millimeters, you know. But in something like a go-kart, for example, their caster and scrub radius changes in percentage a lot the wheelbase. Actually, it's one of the ways that go-karts manage to turn. Otherwise it wouldn't be possible, because go-karts do not have a differential at the rear, so both rear wheels are always traveling at the same speed. The only way to make them turn is making the inside wheelbase shorter and the outside wheelbase longer, of when the actual wheels are turning. And of course, because of the caster, by raising the inner wheel. So you turn the steering wheel and you raise the inner wheel. Sometimes you even, you could see cars with the inner wheel up to the air, practically. Yeah, sure, MMS, fantastic wheel. There is no confirmed list yet. The Brabham is fantastic. A little bit English in terms of how it's assembled, but wonderful. Yeah, because those cars, many of the strange suspension geometry alignments you see on those cars were practically necessary because the materials and the engineer behind the materials were forcing the suspension geometry at places and movements that were simply not possible to deal with, so the alignments had to deal with that. The Brabham noise is a completely different thing, yeah. I'm curious to see what Luca is going to do with it. Anyway, guys, it's 1 o'clock, 50 minutes past 1 o'clock. So I hope you guys had fun. Amrit says, what is the best way to see if the problem is between the seat and the steering wheel, or if it's the setup? Well, I have one of the things I do is, first of all, I get relatively good with the aggressive setup. Then I get the new setup, whatever, and I do some lap and see if I'm faster. Usually I get faster, and then I go back to the aggressive setup again. And if I do the same lap times, it means that it wasn't the setup, it was me getting better at the track and at the car combination. So that is one of the solutions. There are many other different tests you can do, but let's stick to that for now because it's late. Thank you, Darnay. Thank you so much. Thank you, mate. Thanks, Ronnie, for the follow. Grazie a te, Fabio. Hey, channel. No worries, guys. Thank you so much for joining. I had really fun tonight. That's strange that I think the stream at some point went into buffering, but it seems that I'm absolutely still completely streaming. It's only the stream that goes into buffer. That's good. Ando had a very interesting question, but I've lost it. Sorry about that. I had a really great live stream tonight. We had fun in the races. I did a very good practice. We won a race. We did a pole position, some amazing lap time. So yeah, good Aris, good boy. Some great questions for you guys. Actually, very specific technical ones. I love this kind of questions if I can answer them. So very nice. And next thing we have to do is I'm gonna post some of the duels videos, and I have to post still the wet lap of the Miata on the Nürburgring. And then I want to do some practice behind other cars. This is what I miss right now because I see I have still problems following cars into this circuit. If your car is having last question, let's see. If your car is having trouble over curbs, low ones that are usable, is it better to start with damper settings, or aero? So here's the situation. First of all, you have to analyze how you arrive over those curbs. Okay, so if you arrive over those curbs and your car is a little bit off balance, then obviously whatever you're gonna do with the dampers your car is going to get upset because you are already at the limit or even a little bit over the limit of the grip. And at that point, you arrive over something that is not the flat surface, that your tires are already traveling over the limit, you know. So you're arriving over the curbs and your tires are going to bounce over the curbs. So if you're arriving over the curbs with a little bit of oversteer and you're arriving first with the rear end over the curb, obviously you're going to get even more oversteer and you're going to have issues. If you're arriving in understeer, again, the same thing, but you're going to get even more understeer. Okay? So this is the first thing to analyze. How are you arriving on the curbs? When you have analyzed that and you are very certain that it's not your driving style, but it's how you have to do the turn. So either you try with your driving style to fix that, or you say, okay, I cannot do the turn in a better way, that's my driving style, I have to arrive over the curb in that way. Then there's a couple of things you can do. Easiest thing is with aero and suspension, height, you can change a little bit the balance of the car and see if that suits you everywhere else. Of course, it's a compromise. Okay, so you change a little bit the aero balance and the car will arrive on that curb with a different behavior. Okay, but if you don't want to do that, then with the dampers, you can do some strange tricks, for example. So, for example, you can do that if you're arriving in oversteer, going over the curb, you can put weaker fast dampers at the front. Why is that? The weaker fast dampers at the front will make the front end bounce more than the rear. So even if you're arriving in oversteer, at the moment that the car will start bouncing, the front end will bounce more and it will lose more grip than the rear end. So the car will stabilize itself even going over that. It's very tricky, it's very delicate as, setup technique, but it can work. Of course, the opposite, if you're arriving in understeer, you can make the rear end. Now, obviously, by doing that, keep in mind that this will then affect all the other turns of the circuit. So if that happens in all the other turns or the majority of turns, that's a fantastic technique to follow. If that happens only one turn, then it's best to find a compromise into your driving style than change the setup that works into 90% of the track perfectly, and in just one turn you have some issues. And then again, third situation, if that situation we have in only one turn makes you dead or alive, so it's very, very often that you spin in that turn, then absolutely you have to compromise your setup to be safe on that turn and then deal with the problems on the rest of the circuit, even if that means you are slower. Because you can make the perfect lap and not die into a qualifying lap, but for the race, you need a setup that can help you be consistent for a long time. If every time you're going to die into that specific turn, then it pays to, compromise your setup in order to make that turn safer, and even that, if that means that you are a little bit slower in all the other turns. So, first, check your driving style. Second, check if the problem is only there and you can deal with it. If with dampers you can stabilize the car by making the car losing grip on the axis that has more grip when you are bouncing around. Okay. And third, if you are dying all the time, then you have to compromise your setup with aero and everything in order to stay safe on that turn, and you will be a little bit slower in the rest of the circuit. 1, 2, 3. Thanks, guys. Far too kind, far too kind. Vincenzo, ne abbiamo parlato durante tutto lo stream. Comunque, hotfix in arrivo. First can resolve that, yeah. Yeah, glad you like it, Ando. I hope you're gonna, find some solution. Let us know on Discord or here in the comments if that worked some way for you. Okay, guys, remember Andimon plays stream during Sunday evening. Screenshots, how to make amazing screenshots, how to edit your photos, all made with public domain free software. So by all means, follow, go and subscribe to Andimon Plays and watch his stream and learn how to do screenshots, and then post your amazing screenshots all over the social media and tell everybody that Assetto Corsa Competizione is amazing. Yay! Okay, thank you so much, guys. See you next time. Good night. What time is it? It's 1 o'clock, 30 minutes past 1 o'clock. Can I do another proposition maybe? Nah, it's too late. Good night.